Come to the Crosscut podcast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
Do it again, do it again, do it again.
No, it's funny. I think we should leave it like that.
Now I know what TV dinners feel like.
Yay! Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers, and welcome to the greatest show on earth. That's right, you're here at the Crosscut podcast because I'm your co-host, Josh.
I'm your other co-host, Chris.
And Chris's hat is not misleading. That's right. It's time for another Christmas classic. This time,
For sure.
we're going hardcore, R-rated violence. Remember when we talked about Violent Night a couple weeks back, and we are like, man, remember when this movie was pretty much inspired by Die Hard? Well, that inspired us to watch Die Hard. So let's talk about it. All right, we both watched it. First off, we both watched this in the theater for the re-release. Beautiful. It was beautiful in the theater. I loved it.
Oh yes,
you saw it in Dolby.
Yes,
Yeah.
in Dolby. Oh my God, it was perfect. I mean, hearing all the violent, the guns, the explosion in Dolby is like, wow.
The seats are shaking.
Almost. I mean, seeing that action movie and talk about action packed in Dolby. Did you see it in Dolby or normal?
I don't have Dolby here, unfortunately, so I could only see it in normal.
Gotcha. And that was perfect. I laughed the entire time. I remember just how it was all those years watching it. It is a Christmas movie.
Absolutely, it's a Christmas movie. It snows at the end. Of course, it's snowing the money. The money's the snow, right? The bonds or whatever.
Well, yeah, the bail bond, but
well,
it's
it's snowing the ash from the building. That's how it's snowing. It's
there
California, so it's not
snow.
snowing, but it is in a way it's snowing. All right, I have a list of things to get to, so let's get to it. The first thing I want to talk about is something we brought up last week with The Nightmare Before Christmas, and that is that Netflix show, The Movies That Made Us. So, if you've not seen the Die Hard version of The Movies That Made Us, please go boot up the old Netflix because that's what I did. Have not touched it in a while. I had to get the cobwebs off and watch the Die Hard episode of The Movies That Made Us. It's great. When I got home that night, so after I got home from Die Hard, because I know you had your own thing going on doing your double feature, Chris went and saw Godzilla -1, which if you've not seen Godzilla -1, finish this episode, go watch Godzilla -1. It's the best movie of the year. Fight me on it. I don't care. Okay.
No, it's good.
It's very good. When I got home, I watched the episode of The Movies That Made Us Die Hard because I had to. It's great. And then I watched Die Hard 2 after that, which was a lot of fun as well.
Well, see, that's when I finished watching the first one, I told Julie to okay, now we have to do the whole marathon of Die Hard, Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance, 4.0. Come on, we gotta keep going.
I kind of want to revisit the Vengeance and the fourth movie, A Good Day to Die Hard. I've not watched that one since it came out, so it's been like 15 years. And I've never seen the last movie because I don't have any interest because I heard it's not good, sadly.
I watched it and I barely remember it. So there you go.
No, wait. I'm getting confused. Live Free or Die Hard is 2007. A Good Day to Die Hard was the last one. That's the one I don't want to watch. But anyways.
Then I didn't watch the last one.
Okay, yeah, that's the one with it's him and his son. So, okay.
Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that one's like 10 years old. So unfortunate.
Yeah.
The last true Die Hard is the one I sent you, that little 2-minute Die Hard battery commercial for Advanced Auto Parts. If you've not seen it, people, we'll put it in the description. It's very funny. It's really cool. Good cameos. Yeah. Argyle, the limo driver's in it.
Tell me you heard the shots. You're calling the police right now. Of course I'm still coming by later. Sweetheart, have I ever lied to you?
Argyle.
Theo, the one of the few terrorists that actually survive, is in it. So he's in that commercial as well. Which actually brings me to my next thing I want to talk about, which is very sad. This cast, a lot of this cast is now, unfortunately, they're gone. Which I kind of wanted to talk about for a little.
In more ways than one, if you think about it.
Well, let me start with this. Theo, the actor that played Theo, the hacker guy, he passed away last year. Clarence Gilliard Jr. Yeah, he passed away last year. Yeah, sadly. So he passed away last year. Of course, the biggest name right now would be Alan Rickman, who passed away 7 years ago. Paul Gleason, he played the lieutenant, the that kept giving. He passed away. He was like that was almost like 20 years ago.
Okay.
He's been gone for a while. The guy that played Carl, I guess he died in like 1995. I didn't even realize that. He died
Oh,
from like
damn.
hepatitis or something. I was like, wow,
So
hepatitis.
so not that far from after the movie. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. Like maybe like 7 years after the movie. And
Wow.
then I think there was another one. I mean, those are like the big names that unfortunately aren't with us anymore. And it's just sad to think this movie's only 35 years old, and just all these people are. And then of course there's Bruce Willis, he's not
Yes.
dead, but
He's not dead, but
it's
because
not
of his
it's not yeah, because of his condition, it's not looking good. I mean, who
he
knows?
got worse.
Yeah, who knows at this point, sadly, how much longer he has. It's sad. So to think that, I mean, who knows, in a couple of years you could be doing a Die Hard rewatch, and like most of this cast might not even be around anymore. It's just crazy to
And,
think. That's something I wanted to bring up. I know it's a sad
uh,
topic, so let's
in
move on
honor
to.
of those who have
Yes.
passed from this
Thank
movie.
thank you for providing us with some beautiful moments in this movie.
Right.
Speaking of beautiful moments, I want to talk about the thing that I thought is the most powerful moment in this movie that I love, and it's the relationship between John McClane and Sergeant Al Powell. I
Oh,
love their relationship. And
oh
Reginald Vell
yeah.
Johnson, I don't know if you ever watched Family Matters growing up, but he plays the
No.
dad. He's so good. This was right before that, and in that Movies That Made Us, he talks about how he was about to like quit acting, and then this movie came about. So it's a very very cool thing. But to me, best moment in this movie is that little scene at the end where they see each other for the first time,
They just
and they
know each other.
and they
They're
give
like,
the
yep.
hug. But not even that moment is the powerful moment. The powerful moment is
When
when
he
Carl
shoots,
comes out and he shoots him, and it does that little
yep,
rack focus because
on the gun to him.
he has his little story of how he can't
That's right.
shoot the gun because he accidentally killed the kid. And to
Yep.
me, he was able to do that, and he saves the day at the end.
In a
That's
way, he redeems himself.
he redeems.
And,
Yes, it's his
mhm.
redemption moment. It's beautiful. I love that moment in this movie. Honestly, watching this in theaters, I couldn't help but tear up a little bit. Just like just like little things, even like that. Just like little
Mhm.
moments, It's just it's so well done. So I wanted to talk about that really quick. That's something I had on my list was Al's powerful moment, as I call it. What do you got, Chris? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know what it is about 80s action movies that I always resonate with. It it's always the action packed. It's always the cheesy lines, and one memorable line, of course. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Of course, of course. Which I guess that was kind of improv, because again,
Yes,
going
it
back to the
was.
movies that made us, I guess they brought on this like comedy writer to put some
Mhm.
comedy in the movie, and I guess him and Bruce kind of talked about like old like Western days, like Western
Yep,
TV days. So that's kind of where that line came from. But
I
yes,
remember that.
that line is a staple, of course, of Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. And also it's the acting was so much better in the 80s action, regardless of the cheesy lines, of course, but the chemistry, the back and forth that they played on with each other,
Well, did you know
especially
that?
Alan Rickman
Well, did you know?
and
I
Bruce
think
Willis.
Alan Rickman's Hans Gruber, I think he's actually listed as the number two greatest movie villain of all time, according to I think AFI. And
Wow.
it's hard to beat number one because it's Darth Vader. But let me
Yeah.
okay, Hannibal Lecter, Norman Bates, Darth Vader. Okay, maybe he wasn't number two. I thought I saw at some point he was definitely up there. He's number 46 on this list. I don't that
Oh
that doesn't
shit.
sound right. I don't agree with this list. This is AFI's. Maybe they redid. I remember going like seeing a list long time ago, and he was like number two on there. So that's the one I'm gonna go by.
Well, I mean, they revise the list every year, so
Yeah.
but I don't know, it's just the dynamic of all of them. It's just especially with the two main characters. It works so well.
Well, especially for a movie where not a lot of characters are interacting face to face. It's all over walkie-talkie.
True.
Yeah,
True. And
it's very
I
good.
like that about that. You know, you see the perspective views of each person without even connecting to each other until the very end.
And it works so well in the story because when because like okay, so another thing I want to talk about is like little details that have gone over my head that I've now noticed, whether it was
Okay.
this rewatch or the last rewatch. And I want to start with this one. This one's something I knew for a while, but
Mhm.
when she puts the picture down, that's such a subtle thing, but you
Oh yeah.
realize like, oh, that whole time, that's such a big moment later on that when he realizes that's his wife, or they're
Right,
separated.
right.
But yeah, but that's something that's just so great, just like that little detail for her to put that picture down in the moment and for it to pay off just all the way later. That's so good. There are two
Oh
things I
yeah.
wanted to bring up. Two things actually I realized during this rewatch. There's just very little things.
What?
Did you notice the bet between Carl and Theo during the Takagi
Oh
interrogation where he
yeah.
gives them the money? I never noticed that before. So for anyone watching that
I
doesn't know what
didn't
we're
know that
talking
either.
about, yeah, when you rewatch when they're interrogating Takagi to get the
Mhm,
code,
mhm.
Theo says something to Takagi, or he says it to Carl. He says, "I told you so." But for some reason, every time I heard that line, I always thought he was talking to Takagi. I don't know why. But then
Well,
Carl says something right after, like just wait or hold on or something like that. So
right.
obviously between them there is this little bet that they
Like,
weren't going
will
to
he
get
give
the
the code
code.
or not?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then after
Yeah,
he
I
shoots
didn't.
him,
Same thing.
Carl gives him like $10.
Yeah. I
It's
never paid attention to that until yeah, on Friday night when I saw like, huh,
that's
they did
yeah,
do a bet.
nice little. And then the last thing, I don't know if you noticed this. So the first time John goes into her office, Holly's office, his wife, he meets um, Ellis, right? The
Yeah.
the the douchebag who runs his mouth. So Ellis
Right.
makes a comment. He says, "Show him the watch," right?
Right. But he has that big smirk on his face. So like, oh,
Yes, show him the watch. It's a Rolex. What happens at the end of the movie with Hans Gruber? John McClane takes the watch off and he
and he
falls
falls.
down. Oh,
Yeah.
when I saw
Yeah.
that, I
That
was
was some
like,
great symbolism right there.
wow, I never noticed that. And I was
I,
like,
I,
damn.
I did not put it together until recently. Or like, oh, I thought it was it's just a normal watch she had on.
Yeah. But
Until
because
now,
he
I know.
makes, yeah, now he makes such a
Yeah,
big deal about this
the watch. Yeah.
watch and it's a Rolex. I don't know. It's
But there
just
was
like
some
so cool.
great symbolism there. You let go of that guy, kind of like,
Exactly, exactly. Because that's what he was all about, materialism. He was stealing money, and it was about, the he talks about like, oh, he says to Takagi in the elevator, "Oh, you have this suit. I have three at home myself." He was all about the materialism and the monetary value and all that. And
yeah,
for him to only have that watch and he lets it go is such an amazing moment. Um,
it was
first
well
time
written.
it was well written. It was very well. Did you know this was based on a book that was supposed to be a sequel to a Frank Sinatra movie?
I had no idea about that one.
Well, then you clearly haven't watched the movies that made us episode.
I don't remember it. I know I
That was
watched the whole series, but I don't remember
Well, then you got
watching
to
that
rewatch it
episode.
because yeah, it was originally supposed to be a sequel to the movie called The Detective, where say Frank Sinatra from the '60s, and then everything got changed. But just watch the episode; it'll explain it better than I can. I first saw this movie when I was 10 years old, and I kid you not, I was scared to death going to bed that night because I thought terrorists were going to break into my house. That's not, I mean, it's funny, but it wasn't even a joke. Like I remember we used to have like bunk beds as a kid and I would be in the top
Mhm.
bunk and I would be like terrified out of my mind thinking like, "Oh my God, like someone's gonna break into our house tonight and like kill us." And it was because I saw Die Hard.
That's
So
funny.
thank you for that,
I
Die Hard. I was 10 years old the first time I saw it.
think I saw it first time on cable, actually.
So it was the same for me. It
And
would have been cable.
it was cable, and I think I watched it with my brother, and he had already seen it, of course, and he kept saying the famous line, "Yippee-ki-yay." Like, what is that from? I always wondered, right? And then as soon as he says it in the movie the first time, like, oh, that's where this is from. No
But
wonder.
because it's cable, it's yippee ki yay, monkey farter or something like that.
Yeah. I know, but it's still, it was. I watched the first time and I just really loved it. I grew up with the '80s action movies. You know, it was awesome for me.
Well, this movie basically inspired lots of action movies that bled into the 90s, because it was all about action on a specific thing. Like obviously Die Hard is uh, action in a high rise. And then Die
Right,
Hard 2 is basically just in the airport. And then
right,
uh the movie Speed, it's action on a bus, or
true.
Speed 2 on the cruise ship or whatever it was. So,
I
there's
never
so many
said
movies. Most people haven't. I haven't either. Speed's my favorite action movie, but I probably have Die Hard to thank for that. But
well, that
it's
inspired Pop Quiz Hotshot, right?
exactly, yeah. Rest in peace, Pop Quiz Hotshot.
That was
Uh,
fun.
anyway, so yeah, Die Hard was basically a huge inspiration for a ton of movies that came out, action movies that came out in the 90s. So it's fascinating. The next thing I wanted to talk about, I got to visit Nataki.
Yeah, you just sent me a picture of it. Like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
you actually went to the actual building?
yeah, I got to actually go there. So it is actually the Fox Plaza in Century City, Los Angeles. I When I was living in Los Angeles, I went a buddy of mine, guy you've actually met. He works as an accountant for a lot of
Okay,
Fox shows. So he has to go out to like Los Angeles every year to do something he has to do.
right,
And
right.
instead of doing it, he just wanted to kind of like hang out with his buddies. And then he's like, "Hey, if I paid you $100, all you gotta do is go pick up this box from this place and bring it back to me." And I'm like, "All right, easy enough, sure." So I
Right.
get there, and it's kind of far from where I live, but I was like, whatever, $100 for the day. That's still good. And I get there and I'm like, oh shit, this is the Fox Plaza. This is where they filmed Die Hard. So I got to go
Didn't
in.
know that
I
already?
mean, it looked just like the lobby. Yeah, it was cool, man. I got to go in there, and so yeah, I got to go on. And when I got the box, and I made a little joke. I think I said something like the package is secured or something like that, just to give a little Die Hard theme. But yeah, Chris will insert. I'm sure he probably already has at this point. I sent him the picture. He's editing the episode, so he'll put the picture that I sent him in there. But yeah, so I actually got to visit it. It was pretty cool. So
That's
anybody
awesome.
that ever wants to visit it, it's just the Fox Plaza. Well, I don't know if you can actually visit it. You could probably go look at it. I don't think you can go inside without like a visitor's pass or something. But yeah,
True.
it's Fox Plaza in Century City. So I got to
That's
check it
awesome.
out. It was really cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know you've gone to different filming locations in California everywhere, right? You went to the Michael Myers house, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I've been there multiple times. In Pasadena, the Michael Myers house. Funny enough, first time I ever went to the Michael Myers house, I didn't even realize I was there because I was working on a show, and there's a cafe across the street from it. And I remember thinking like, oh, I think they filmed Halloween around here, just to realize that like literally the house was right behind me the whole time. So
It's
yeah.
the only like film locations that I've gone to is in Salem for Hocus Pocus.
Mm,
I
okay.
went, we passed by the cemetery. When in the beginning of the movie, and then the city hall.
Mm,
So that and well, that was the only two places we saw that were from the locations from the movie. We didn't
okay.
go through the other ones. There were like Max's house, Allison's house, and the Witch Village.
Right, right, right. Okay.
But
All
still
right.
cool to see film locations like the Die Hard, Nakatomi
Oh
Plaza.
yeah, absolutely. So that was cool. So I can always say I have that. The One of the greatest action movies ever made. It's a great Christmas movie. Uh,
It
there's
is. It
there's so many
is.
little Christmas references in it too.
Oh
Just as far as
yeah.
like yeah, stuff. Anyways.
Even something stupid like when he sends down Carl's brother with the
Hmm.
Santa hat. He's like, now I have a
Now I have a
machine gun.
machine gun.
Ho ho ho.
Oh, I love the part when he needs to get Al's attention. and he
throws the
throws
body.
the body, and you just see a body and Al's just screaming on the radio, like, "What you did? Oh my God, we need back!" And he's just like driving backwards, and he flies off the little ravine thing, and just and of course another great line: "Welcome to the party, pal."
Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh,
Oh
so
my God,
good,
that was good.
so
His
good.
one-liners in this movie are just perfect.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
They had to match the I mean, at this point, this movie came out in 88. They had to match the Arnold Schwarzenegger level of one-liners, I guess, in
True.
movies, because Predator had already come out. Same director, John McTiernan.
Mm.
He already had, The Running Man, which is full of one-liners. Terminator is basically just him saying a one line. So yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Die Hard, man. I mean, what else to say? Bruce Willis. This movie
He,
turned him into a movie star as well. That's another thing from that documentary, is that he was a TV star before this turned him into a movie star.
I mean, damn, it's hard not to want to watch this movie. It's just too good. It really is a staple Christmas action movie. You
Yeah,
gotta see
and
it. Please
you
watch
know what
it.
was funny when I was watching it? I was like, man, if they made this modern day, so many of these plot elements would just not work. Like the whole idea of him trying to get a hold of the police, and he just has to go through so many hoops and ladders. He literally has to throw a body out the window for the police to show up. Whereas if this movie was modern day, they'd have to like figure something out, like he forgets his phone, something stupid like that, like his cell phone.
Like a cell phone. Like, I mean, technically you could if you wanted to. Like,
There's a way. Like for example, let's say he has a cell phone, he calls the police, car or Al shows up, does his thing, and then maybe like there's a shootout and his phone gets shot or something. He could have done something like that, but
yeah, but if you think about it, that was not his first thing to do, to call the police, because he is the police, remember? So I know he later on he does try to call the police, but that's the thing. That was not his first thing on his mind. First thing was assess the situation and then
well,
see
the
if he
first thing
can
he
get
did was get
free.
the hell out of that office, and then yes, he was kind of observing, and trying to figure out what's going on. But he does pretty early on. He tries to grab that phone to make a
Right.
call, and the phone doesn't work.
So I don't know if it would make sense or not if he had a cell phone in modern day or not. Would he
Well, if
have
he
just left it in the room with
no
his
no, he would
socks
have
and
had it with
shoes?
no, he would have had it with him. Well, maybe he would have left it in the room. Who knows? I mean, well, that's the thing. If
That's a
I
lot of
mean,
ifs.
I know it's a lot of ifs, but if he's a cop and he hears a gunshot, I think his instinct would kick in right away, and he'd be like, "What do I need?" He gets his gun. The first thing he does is he grabs his gun. Right? Makes sense. I think he would grab his phone right after that. He's smart. He would be like, "I need my phone. I need to contact whoever." But
True.
again, that's we're talking about a modern day Die Hard. It won't even work anyways. It'd be all stupid CGI crap going on.
Probably.
This movie's just a gem of its time, man. This movie came out at the right time.
It did. It did.
You
It did.
can't,
But it
and with
still
that,
holds up. It still holds up.
still holds up. Absolutely, it's some of the best action you can, because it's old school, man. They were using miniatures as the tower to blow it up, and I mean, yeah, it just looks beautiful. It's gorgeous, and that's why I
Yeah,
can't
and all the
stand
practical effects, the shooting of the glass,
Oh my God, the squibs, the dude that gets shot in the groin with the I'll take what does he say when he shoots him through the table? Uh all at a table now. And then he shoots him. I forgot what Bruce says at
oh,
that point after
no, he said something like, when you have a chance to shoot someone right away, do it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the advice or something like
Oh.
that. Yeah, just like it hurts, because they got the squibs. The dude, like one dude gets shot and he just like falls through the glass, and
Mhm.
yeah, man. Bruce Willis is just running over glass and just bleeding out, just
Oh,
dying.
funny
Ugh.
enough, when he act after he runs on the glass and he's taking the glass out of his feet and everything, uh, Julie cringed at that scene, like, oh,
Because it feels real. It feels like it,
us.
movies nowadays, unless it's a horror movie that might do practical effects, but I don't know. A lot of other movies would just
It's
take the cheaper
because it's
route.
more of a real situation, not like a horror movie.
Sure.
In a horror
You get some
movie, you're
cringe.
expecting it, but you're expecting to be horror like Wound, but this one is it's literally just walking on glass.
I don't know. I've still seen horror movies where I cringe because somebody's got something literally right in front of their eye. And I've seen people literally go cringe
Like
like
Evil
that.
Dead.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Evil Dead. But again, practical effects done right. Anyways, we're out of time. I hope everybody enjoyed Die Hard. Go do a Die Hard marathon. Watch 2, 3, 4, skip 5. Watch the 2-minute Die Hard commercial. It's great. Bruce Willis, man, you know, you've been a gem for 35 years in the movie community. And I know you'll never see this, but anybody watching that's a huge fan, Bruce, we love you. You know, just
Always.
yeah, we'll always love you, man. That's
Thank
all
you
I
for
gotta
everything.
say. Thank you for everything. And that's all we got here. Subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching and or listening.
Culprit, moving on. Yippee-ki-yay!
Motherfucker. And Chris will bleep that part out. Who am I? Who am I? Takagi.
No.